Behavior Networks and Lifesong Academy is a therapeutic center for children with neurobehavioral issues such as autism, ADHD, and chromosome disorders, where we focus on communication and social challenges to help the kids be more independent when they get older. We actually started our business in quite an unusual way. I was a corporate communications expert doing a lot of work in organizational behavior management, things like that. And then what ended up happening is my husband and I adopted 6 children from Hungary, and they ended up having some neurobehavioral issues, a lot of social and communication issues that was way outside of the lines of what we expected because they spoke Hungarian and we spoke English. And so what ended up happening after about two years, we started getting ideas that this was way more than what we were going to be able to handle through the typical means. And we found out that 3 of the children had autism and several other kind of issues that they had to have some additional support with. But the gold standard wasn't in Evansville, and so the business story was that because I was already doing some work through organizational behavior management, I went back through and found a lot of commonalities through Six Sigma and task analysis and things like that with applied behavior analysis, which is what the children actually needed, is considered what children with autism really can benefit from in many cases. So I went back to school and got all that done, and the kids started improving dramatically. And so by 2005, I was able to start working with children outside of my own home. And then we ended up going, by 2009, we opened our first center. It was a little bit small, 3,500 square foot building up in Newburgh. And about 2000, I guess about 2010, it was clear that we were going to outgrow that. And very shortly, every year after that, we had to do a major expansion. So the SBDC has been extremely helpful to me in this past year. As we've talked about, there's a lot of growth that the business has gone through since 2009. But I don't think that our current situation would have actually happened as quickly and as effectively as it had been, if it hadn't been for the help we had gotten through the SBDC. And that was because Pete Sibylla actually came in and asked me one day, he goes, "So, what do you want this business to be?" And that was actually such a simple question when indeed it's such a very complicated and very thorough question that it really caused me to pause and think, because at that time we were already space constrained. We were looking at a situation where we had a 3,500 square foot building. We were helping quite a few kids. I had about 10 employees, give or take a little bit, and we were doing okay. But when I had to answer the question of what did I want it to be, we couldn't serve all the kids that I thought we needed to serve and help all the children and lower the cost for the services for children with autism, things like that, in that present condition. And so Pete's question really started helping me clarify and focus on what we wanted to do next. 3 primary things. Number 1, be really, really clear on what you're wanting to do. Know your mission very clearly, and I don't mean just a off-the-shelf mission statement that you tack up there and never look at again. I mean one that you're living and breathing and eating and waking up in the middle of the night to actually deliver. So that's number 1. Number 2, to get there, you have to surround yourself with amazing people, because you can't do it alone. And I think that that's one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to learn, is that you can't do it by yourself. You have to build that team, and you have to be humble enough to accept help, and you have to be brave enough to go out and look for it, and smart enough to know what's good information and what's not, and try to decipher through all that. So I would recommend that. And then the 3rd thing, I think you have to be absolutely fearless, because there is nothing about running a business, especially in this kind of economic terms that we've gone through over the past 5 years or so, that is logical. It comes from a place where you've got to actually a lot of people are going to be really questioning what you're doing. But if you've got that mission part clear, if you know in your heart that you're doing something that absolutely must be done, and you are one of the best people to do that, and you've got the team around you, you can put it all together. And it works out really well, and then it's a lot of fun.